Who's your emergency contact? Who should be notified in case of death? Welcome to the USP, where I've spent the last 2+ decades of my life. Hopefully I don't get pulled over for driving at night with my light on. But, I was out all day trying to paint my studio. It didn't work out too well. But we cleaned up the place, after they sand everything down, the shit get really dusty, so we was up there cleaning it. Then we taped everything up, the plastic over the windows and the doors, so that we could paint. But when we got to painting, the paint machine didn't work, so got to double back in the morning. But this is a USP series, so let's get to it, man. When I was in Florence, before I left, we was on lockdown, and we were only coming out for an hour here, an hour there, because we had the COVID lockdown in early 2020. But after that, like I said, dudes were getting chopped up, man. So they kept placing the place on lockdown. And every time we would get out for a few days, something else would happen, and the administration that we had over there, I don't know if they were, I think they were doing everything half-assed backwards, right? And my point, to emphasize that point is this story right here. So we're on lockdown. This is my last year. This is my last year in there. I got maybe, I thought I was coming home to a halfway house, but I ended up not getting the halfway house for whatever reason. The halfway house refused me, so I ended up getting stuck. But the whole time, like I said, we just locked down, man. So a dude comes off the bus, and he's a white dude, He comes off the bus, and his name is Paul from Florida. Now, I met Paul when we was in Atwater. But, I didn't really function with him too tough, but I fought with some of his homies out of Florida real tough, so that's how I was introduced to him. They're like, oh, this is the homie from Florida, this is a good homie, this and that. And Paul's white, and a couple dudes I mess with, one of them, we call him Charlie Brown. I forget his real name, but me and him got really tight. But Charlie Brown ended up, he had a life sentence, but he ended up, I don't know, going out the back door, I guess. But I'll leave that for another day. But for today, we're talking about Paul. So he comes over there. He leaves Atwater for whatever and ends up wherever he ends up. And then, I run into him in the Smooth. On my way to the Smooth, he catches the same bus that I catch. And he's like, oh yeah, what's up, Mason, man? You remember me? I'm Paul from Florida, this and that. I'm like, yeah, I remember you. You're Charlie Brown's homie. He's like, yeah, man, what's up, man? How you been? Then he started asking me about the riot that happened in Atwater, and he's like, man, I heard about that, man. I heard that you and Bryson helped out the homies over there, this and that. And, I already relayed that story to you guys where me and Bryson jumped in to help the white boys when they were in a riot with the Mexicans. So we both go through the Smooth program, and I left the Smooth, he left the Smooth, he went somewhere else. Well, long story short, we all end up he ends up in Florence with me my last year before I came home. So when he comes through, like when you're doing time, when you're at a spot with somebody, you get to know them a little bit. When you meet up with them again on another yard, it's like, it's love, I'm just like, damn, what's up, man? How you been, man? Where you been? Because these are the people that you associate with. In 2 decades, these were the people that I lived with, that I grew up with. You know what I mean? And it's just like you build relationship, you build rapport, and then everything I've heard about dude, it's never been anything foul. But that being said, is that we didn't live in the same unit, we were cellies. So it's just like when you got friends out here every time you meet them, it's on, for a celebration, or you're hanging out, so you get to see the best of them, their good side. You're not there at home when shit's going bad, or when they feeling whatever they're feeling, or you don't really get to see anybody's like true personality, true self, because you're only encountering them and hanging out with them in spurts, right? So now the dude lives in my block. He's upstairs from me. He comes in, he shoots me a kite. Hey, what's up, Mason, man? Hey, check this out. I got some stuff in my property, this and that. When you get here, I got you. Boom. And true to his word, when he got his property, he had some stuff tucked away or whatever. He shot a line down under my door. I shoot my line out of my door. He's upstairs, so he shoots his shit over the rail. Like when you're locked up, you learn how to fish. We call it fishing. And you learn how to fish. You gotta get real good at it, because if you're not, you ain't gonna be able to get shit, because ain't nobody out there passing nothing for you. So, you make a fishing line out of the strings in your underwear, or you can rip up your khaki pants and pull each of those strings out, and then twist them up, turn them into a little rope, or you can just rip the strips out of your sheet, depending on how technical you want to get with it, right? And you put an anchor on there. Usually I have to get an empty toothpaste, but I'll melt a bar of soap in there and smash the soap down, because the soap is heavy. So you set that soap inside, the empty bottle of toothpaste, toothpaste tube, and press it down. And you can slide it under your door, and it goes, it's got a little weight on it, so it can slide under your door. But he's fishing from upstairs, so he throws it over the rail, and his fishing line would hook and hang down. Then I gotta go fish it and grab it or whatever. So, like I said, he said he had some in his property when he got there, and when he got his property, he shot me down a little something, looked out for me, and I look out for him whenever we come across something, whatever. We stuck in the cell, but we still living. You know what I mean? We still gotta do our time. We can't close our eyes and make the time disappear. So we keep busy. Anyway, so one day, this dude, you see him, the COs come, and they go upstairs, and next thing I know, I see him coming down the stairs, because from where my cell is, the stairs is right there. The cell's like maybe 10, maybe 15 feet away from my cell. So I could see him coming down the stairs, handcuffed behind his back. The CO's got his property, and whatever, they're taking him to the shoe. So I'm like, damn, what the fuck, man? They took him to the shoe. I don't know what happened. Like, they just came in one day in the morning and picked dude up. So, yeah, but when we were locked down, at that time, we were still able to come out an hour here, an hour there to shower, use the phone, use the email and stuff. So, the next day when I come out, I go up to his cell, where he was at, to holler at his cellie, right? I'm like, hey man, what's up with the homie, man? He's like, oh man, that dude checked in. Checking in is like running away. You're in fear of something, or you burned somebody or whatever, but you owe somebody money, but you're trying to leave the yard, so you write a kite to the CO talking about, hey, I feel like my life is in danger, this and that, please come and get me and protect me, that sort of shit, But for me, just like, every time I hear somebody say that about somebody, I don't run with it, because a lot of people, there's been a lot of incident where people say, oh, old boy checked in and this and that, and it wasn't true. So I just received the information and just hold it, you know what I mean? Like, I withhold my judgment. And he's like, yeah, man, dude checked in, this and that, man, he owed people a lot of money, this and that. I'm like, man, dude got money. Like, when I was with him in Atwater, everything I knew about dude, he had money. When he came Mr. Florence, at that time, coming from wherever he came from, he brought money with him. You know what I mean? Like, he shot me down when he first came, when he got his property. He shot me down some dope and like 15 books of stamps. You know, like, hey man, this is for you, Mace. You know what I mean? So I'm like, he came with money. Dude got money. For all I've known, you know what I mean? So anyway, you know, a few days come out, you know, a few days go by, and every time we come out, it's the same shit. It's like, oh man, Paul checked in, and then now I find out that there's other people in the unit that he owes a lot of money to, right? So I'm like, you know, now I'm reconsidering the information. You know, I'm like, damn man, I've been knowing this dude for years, and it's just like, fuck, I hate to think that it's true, but it's starting to look like it's true, right? So about 3 weeks later, they had a shoe kick out. Now this is where I say that the administration, it was like on some backward ass shit, because, you know, they know the politics of the penitentiary. They know if you get run off the yard, if like, you know, your homeboy tell you gotta leave, and this dude leaves, and you know, out of his own accord, because you know this homeboy's forcing him to leave, and then later on tries to come back out, they already know he can't stay because the homies kicked him off the yard already. So if he comes back out, he's gonna get punished, right? Just like the same thing, like you get into a confrontation or whatever, a couple dudes jump you, that means like your homies Xing you out, because they sent a couple dudes on you to X you out. Like, you're not able to come back out on the compound, man, you know? So, like 3 weeks go by, this wasn't even long, like 3 weeks go by, they're kicking people out of the shoe. They're kicking people out of the shoe, and they bring 3 people into our unit, and one of them is Paul. So I'm a little confused, right? I'm like, because, you know, I hear the rumors that they say he checked in and all that. But like I said, I've been knowing dude. So even though the evidence start leading towards that he might have checked in or that he did check in, but seeing him come back out on the compound, I'm like, man, because if nobody don't know the politics, Paul know the politics. He been in Atwater with us. He been in Pollock. He been around. You know, he's been down for a minute. He been around. He already know if, you know, as far as politics go, the white boys push it hard. The white boys, then the natives. Like, hands down, the white boys and the natives, they push their politics hard. If the white boys find out your ass was in Tucson, Arizona, Terre Haute, or Coleman, I think it's Coleman 2. These are our dropout, they call them dropout yards or sex offender yards. You might be straight. It might be you might not be a sex offender. You might be cool and all that stuff. And it's your first time in the penitentiary and you didn't know anything about this yard, but you went over because you live in those region or whatever, you got sent to those yard and you stay there, and then later on you get caught up or you get a transfer and you end up on a different yard. Man, when the white boys see, you know, when you leave, it shows where you come from. You know, your paperwork, your traveling, your passport shows that you came from this prison or that prison. And when the white boys get that sheet in the laundry room and they see, oh damn, this dude came from Tucson, knowing that Tucson's a dropout yard, and knowing that the rules throughout the whole penitentiary system, the USP, the white boys are not allowed to walk on Tucson, Terre Haute, or Coleman 2. I believe it's Coleman 2. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But these are dropout yards, where they put the sex offenders and they put the, you know, gang members that got X'd out, and they put the rats and all that stuff. As far as the white boys are concerned, you are not allowed to walk that yard, and if you walk that yard, you're getting your head busted. So dudes that just first come into the system that don't even know about any of the politics, they stay on these fucking yards for a year or 2 years and then get sent somewhere else. The white boys ain't even gonna, ask them no question. They just gonna see your traveling slip that says you came from one of these yards, and they're gonna bust your head. That's just, I say that just to emphasize how hard the politics are with these white dudes, right? And Paul been around. He's been sent on missions. He's been on yards where he's seen dudes getting fucked off, you know what I mean? So when he comes back out of the shoe and walks into our unit, for a minute, I'm like, man, dude can't check in, because if he checked in, he wouldn't come back out because he ain't stupid. He already know what time it is, right? So he comes into the unit, and he's over there standing by the CO's office, because the COs are trying to sign him some sale. Sign it. He got 3 dudes in our that just came in, so they're trying to find a place to put them, what sale to go to. They try to put you with your race, with your homeboys, or whatever available sale, right? So he's in front of the CO's office, waiting to get, designated a sale. And another white dude comes up behind me. He's like, damn, I can't believe that fool came back out. I said, what you mean? He said, man, that motherfucker checked in. And I'm like, you sure, man? Because if he checked in, he's white, so he know how the whites run, right? He's like, nah, man, homie checked in. So I'm like, all right. So, you know what I mean? I get out the way, I hang out in front of my cell, and I wait for the show, because there's gonna be a show. If this dude checked in, the white dudes are not gonna let him walk that line. You know what I mean? Like I said again, out of all the races in the penitentiary system, us included, the whites and the natives go the hardest when it comes to politics. When it comes to smashing their own. That's not to say like they quick to get into a funk with another group or anything like that, but amongst themselves, amongst the standards, not having no sex offenders and rats and dudes that check in and thieves and stuff around them, the white dude go the hardest, hands down. So, but Paul's sitting there in front of the freaking CO's office, and I'm watching, I'm looking around, because like when shit like this is about to happen, your senses perk up, you know what I mean? It's like you go into, defense mode, just to make, even though it ain't got nothing to do with me, I'm not trying to be in the crossfire. I'm not trying to be where I'm in the way of them trying to put in the work or none of that shit. So, I scoot my ass around and get out the fucking way. And I post up in front of my cell, and I'm getting ready for the show. At this time, I got a cell, he's native from, I think he's from Montana. I forgot his name, man, but he was really cool. But anyway, so he's like, man, what's going on? Because the rooms get when you're on the yard, when you're in the unit, there's always a certain level of sound, of noise that you're accustomed to. So when the volume gets turned up, there's something going on. Maybe people are excited about something or whatever. But you gotta look, because the volume turned up. Now, when the volume turns down, when all of a sudden you're sitting there and it's a certain level of noise, and then it goes quiet, that's when you have to beware, because the reason it's quiet is that everybody's kind of like half-ass holding their breath, waiting to see something. You know what I mean? So the unit goes quiet. There's still a few people talking or whatever, but the level of volume, the volume level just drops, right? And I'm watching, but I don't really notice anything, like out of the ordinary. Paul's still over there in front of the CO cell, And here comes the CO, and the CO is giving them their their cell numbers and stuff, right? So I think it was 2 blacks and Paul that came out of the chute. So the black dude hit the stairs because I guess he's living somewhere upstairs. The other black dude burns off to wherever he was going, and Paul's last. So he comes out, and I guess he's going back upstairs. So he walks towards the stairs. As soon as he walked towards the stairs, because he's in the back of the unit, the stairs that he's trying to go up is in the back of the unit. 3 dudes, I don't know where they came from. They were like little ninjas, because usually you see like these, you're like, oh, that dude's gonna make the hit, that dude's ready, that dude's post up. But I didn't even see where these dudes came from. But as soon as Paul got behind that the staircase, 3 dudes came out of the woodwork and started working him. Bing, 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 bing. Punishing him, you know what I mean? Knocked him down a couple times, but it only lasted like maybe a minute, 2 minutes before the CO ran over there and freaking sprayed everybody down and all that shit. But for me, it was disappointing, because I fucked with dude. When I was in Atwater, I met him in Atwater. I fucked with him. When we was on the way to Lewisburg, he looked out for me, on account that he heard about me helping out the white dudes over there in Atwater and stuff. And I always thought dude was a good dude, but it shows it shows you that you never really know what dudes are about, man, until you really living with them, until you really function with them on a daily basis. Because, when you're out here in the streets, seeing your homies here and there, you always think that they're good people, because you're out, the time you guys are kicking it is always, kicking it. It's always something positive, celebrating something or just having fun. But you don't really know all the different grimy shits that they do when you're not around. And it's disappointing, man. Like, since I've been home, I've been hearing a lot of stuff about the homies that I was there with that just ain't living up, to our standards. But like I said, man, we don't waste no tears on buses, man. Anyways, welcome to the USP.